All right, gang, in studio, a legend of Fargo-Moorhead in West Fargo, a guy that I grew up watching on TV, and you hate that I'm bringing this up right now.
That's great. Thank you.
Charley Johnson, now with the Visitors and Conventions Bureau. How are you, pal?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm exceedingly well. Let's talk about your guitar playing first, because
okay.
I remember watching on Facebook. It must have been last year. The old newsman shows up on my Facebook feed on a live video, and you're playing, and dude, you can shred on the guitar, Charley. How did this all come to be?
Shredding is probably one word that's never been used. It's not really my style, but I've been playing since I was like 12.
Really?
Yes, yeah. And my brother and sister were a lot older than me, so once I got to junior high, I was like an only child. So I had a guitar and a banjo, and I went in my bedroom a lot and just played. So,
right on.
Yeah, and so about 10 years ago, my wife and I, we'd been singing in the basement all along, but then we got a chance to play at a local night place, a dining place actually, the old winery over there by Cashwise.
Sure.
And then we played there monthly for quite a while, and then they closed, but now we're at the Sons of Norway, and we have some friends who play with us, Michael J. Olson and Kate Henney, and my wife Mary and me, and then Michael's daughter Randy Heinold plays with us sometimes. So we're making our triumphant return to the Troll Lounge at the Sons of Norway this week, probably before this airs. But
yeah,
this will be our first time back since we did a couple dates in the fall when things were looking better, but then that got shut down again. So we're looking forward to it.
Well, I love the Sons of Norway. I love the Troll Bar, and you and your wife are massive talents.
Well, thank you.
I think she's better than you. I'm just going to
She
say
is,
that.
Yeah. She's a good singer, that's for sure. And she plays a little harmonica.
Oh, that's great.
And the occasional tambourine.
I used to be a worship leader, and I said that I have a perfect campfire voice, as I am loud and always slightly off key.
Yeah,
so
there
it's
you
perfect.
go.
Yeah,
It fits right in. Yeah.
So if you need a sixth member of the band,
okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. I'm assuming you won't call, but that's fine. Charley, tell us what you do with the Visitors and Conventions Bureau, because it obviously is a big factor in how Fargo-Moorhead and West Fargo continues to grow and stay healthy.
Well, thank you. I like to think that it is. Not a lot of people really think about the Convention and Visitors Bureau, or, I think everyone has a vague idea that we obviously bring people to town, and that really is our primary role in any configuration you can think of, whether it's a leisure tourist, a couple, a family, meetings and conferences, from 20 to 1,000 people. And then, of course, we do a lot. We have a sports team that works with sports tournaments.
Sure.
Which is really kind of what's been our saving grace since the pandemic came, because sports tournaments started coming back last summer and have pretty much gone on, except for the brief shutdown we experienced last winter. So we dabble in all of that. We have a team that works. We have a convention sales team. We have a sports sales team. We have a marketing department, a team of 3 people. Really, we're all one big marketing department, because we're what they call a destination marketing organization. So really, everyone in our building is in marketing, but our marketing team is in charge of the external image, the website, the visitor guide, print or digital ads, TV ads, radio ads, all that kind of stuff. And then they also work very closely with the convention sales and sports sales teams to help promote in the venues that they use as well. So normally we're out beating the bushes for people to come to town, and it's been a rough year for that. Except for the sports side of it, it's been an extremely rough year, and we've had to adapt. I don't think there's anyone on the staff who's doing exactly their job description or only their job description.
Everybody has a few more hats that they're wearing.
Well,
now.
right, because we have fewer people because we've had some attrition over the year, and then the activity has been different.
Yeah. So I've had the privilege over the last 6 or 7 years. I do community tours for incoming Sanford physicians. I get to drive these physicians around and show off our community. One of the things that I always note is I say, per capita, Fargo has more restaurants and more hotels than almost any other community that you'd find. And I think what you just alluded to of the meetings and the sports tournaments, that's one of the reasons why Fargo has such a robust amount of those things. And the pandemic has been tough on these industries. How are they doing now?
Well, They're coming back,
Okay.
but most people think the hospitality industry, which was devastated by the pandemic,
Yep.
and I'm talking about hotels, airlines, bus travel, whatever, and of course bars and restaurants, and by extension any retail business, because visitors shop, just devastated by this. Our hotel revenue in Fargo-Moorhead and West Fargo in calendar year 2020 was 40% off, almost exactly 40% from 2019.
Oh my gosh.
Which coincidentally amounts to about $40 million. The hotel business, just room nights in our metropolitan area, normally is over $100 million a year. And we dropped down to about 60.
Wow.
And that was
How many
two
of these,
good months to start it.
How many of these places closed down then, Charlie?
We've had a few that have closed, a couple permanently, some closed closed temporarily and have come back. So it's been kind of a moving target for us to keep track of that, but a lot of them now are coming back. There are a few that remain closed.
Didn't you? I expected a third of restaurants, a third of hotels to shut down, and they haven't. They've found a way. They've crawled. They've gritted their nails, right? They've found a way, but they are hanging on by a thread. Is that fair to say?
I think that's fair to say, and obviously the stimulus packages have helped. Have come through in a big way. The latest stimulus package actually includes more than $28 billion for bars and restaurants, and I think venues are included in that too.
Yeah.
So that's a huge win for them because they were really struggling to get help. So, but they took it. Most of the good restaurants and hotels did everything they could, including our local nonprofit attractions, did everything they could to take advantage of the federal dollars that became available, whether they were grants or loans, and they were all over it because we would talk to them and keep them informed as best we could of these things, and they all knew what was going on, and most of them handled it extremely well, and that's what kept them going. But obviously, employment in those industries is down. The first week after the pandemic, had our staff do a quick survey. We ended up talking to like 45 hotels out of 65. And just within the first week to 10 days, there were more than 1,000 layoffs in the hotel industry in March of last year. Between the middle of March and the beginning of April, more than 1,000 people lost their jobs. Now, some of them have come back, but I don't think anybody's back at full staff from where they were.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see now that the Jasper is going to open up downtown. That'll have an interesting economic burst, but it's also shifting and pulling from other places. And I think here's my prediction, Charlie, and we're going to run out of time here. But my prediction is that in the next few months, a resurgence should be imminent. Prayerfully, hopefully, willingly, that I don't think that we're ever going to get back to maybe where it was because we're in a different season of life now. But I would say that I have hope for the future. What do you have hope for with what's to come?
I'm hugely optimistic about things coming back. Most people in our industry nationwide will tell you the hospitality industry across the board won't get back to 2019 levels probably until at least 22, maybe even 23.
Okay.
It'll vary from market to market, of course. But I think you're right. We're going to see a big comeback starting in the fall, probably. I think it's already started. As more people get vaccinated, I think more people will go out, and there's a huge pent-up demand to travel. So I think we'll see a lot of travel this summer from people. Could be still a lot of road trips, maybe not quite as much flying, but I see the airlines are filling up now again. So I think I think there's going to be a huge resurgence in this community. When the college students come back in the fall, it'll be interesting to see what, all the hot spots like downtown Fargo and some of the other places are like on Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. It's going to be busy. So,
well, Charlie, you are at the epicenter, literally and figuratively, of what's happening for the growth of Fargo and the health and vibrancy of it. And I thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you.
If people want to learn more about the Visitors and Conventions Bureau, where's the website they need to go to?
Fargo-Moorhead.org. Fargo-Moorhead, all one word.
That's a good domain.
.org.
Way to grab that one.
So that's easy. There's we have a great website managed well by our marketing team, and it's constantly being updated. We had a huge coronavirus response segment on it for months. It's still there, but it's not the first thing people go to now. But it's been well done by our staff. So our whole staff does a great job. They've done really wonderful things. Sports is the big thing that's kept us going while we wait for the meetings industry to come back. But we're starting to see some signs of life for that now. So
awesome. Well, Charley, thanks for joining us in studio. Good luck at the Troll Bar.
Thank
and
you.
In the meantime, we're going to go to break. This is Real Estate Radio with Erik Hatch.